Hey there folks, this is the one and only Mr. Emerald Dragon, and we are showing off a brand new game here now. I'm not going to do a full Let's Play of this. This is going to be more of a Let's Preview. So I'm just going to jump into a character I've been messing around with. Now this game, as you can see from that handy dandy little title there, is called Path of Exile, and it's from Grinding Gear Games, and it's in a closed beta at the moment. A friend of mine gave me a beta key a few weeks back, near enough like a month, 2 months back thereabouts, and I've been messing around with it since. And it's pretty cool, I have to say. Let's just get naked here for the moment. There we go, there's my character. A marauder. Big, beefy, and mean. And let's dress him up again. So yeah, this is, as you can see, a wonderful little Diablo-esque type of game. Fully online, everything is instanced, and you can join up a group and all join the same instance if you want. There's public notice boards to play in groups. There's a shit ton going at the moment, or you can just go it alone. It's perfectly fine to go it alone. The only reason you join a group is simply that you get better loot, and monsters are a bit tougher, so you got a chance of gaining experience a little bit quicker. So yeah, it's a pretty fun game, and it's, as far as I'm concerned, it is what Diablo 3 should have been. Because it seems like they just simplified too much in D3 and just made it less than what it should have been. There. I'll add a little shock effect to my shield, so if people hit me they get a bit damaged. And while they're killing themselves, I will show you why I think this is Diablo 3 done right. This is your passive skill tree. All of these are 1 point per level. And this is just fucking insane. Now I'm here. A Templar would be up here, then a Witch, then a Shadow, a Ranger, and down here would be a Duelist. So I'm all Strength. That's Strength, Intelligence, just Intelligence, Intelligence, Dexterity, just Dexterity, and Dexterity, Strength. And each node gives you little bonuses, like this one gives 15% life, this one gives you life regeneration. You know, you're getting plus 30 to maximum strength, plus 30 to strength. A lot of power can be had from these. Now they just underwent a whole reworking of this. It used to look quite different. In fact, it's been through several different incarnations, but hopefully they won't remain with this one. They'll open it up a bit more to what it was before this. And the main reason I would like them to do that is simply it used to be a lot easier to go off in different directions and gain different skills. I mean, my Marauder at the moment has way more strength than intelligence. The way I had it before, my strength and intelligence were pretty much 50-50, because you could move off up the top into the intelligence skills, and I'd gotten all sorts of stuff that allowed me to get additional minions. I had a few that allowed all sorts of bonuses to my elemental damages and elemental resistances. At the moment I'm just having to set for a few resistances over here. But either way, you know, it's a cool game, and you can still go off the beaten path, but it costs a lot more to get to the useful things, like these aura effect range and reduced mana reservation skills. They really help, because like this is vitality, it gives me life regen, and that takes 36% and blocks it off. Determination takes another 36, and this one I'm using, Tempest Shield, takes 23. Well, that's with the 2 slight reductions. And you know, they're interesting skills and they're really useful. And of course, the more of these you have going, the more battles you can just wander into the middle of. So, across a few rare guys here. The yellow guys are kind of unique people, and it's a good thing that I did, because we get to see a few... That was my shield charge. I hold down the Alt key and you see this. You've got white items, which are just normal stuff. You've got these blue ones, which are magic, and these yellow ones, which are rare. Let me just identify that wooden mask, kind of crap. Identify these chain gloves, also kind of crap. But this rare piece of armor has a bunch of different abilities on it, and as you can see, pretty much everything I have on me is rare, except for my helmet. I need to get a better one of those. And that's the way things look. Now that skill tree, that just gives you skills. It's, you know, like bonuses and whatnot. Your actual attacks and spells and all that stuff come from these little gems that you socket into your items. You've got red, green and blue ones. Red is for strength related skills, green is for dexterity related skills, and blue is, of course, for intelligence related skills. And there's also some which are these different shaped gems. They're support gems. They add extra effects to one of the skills that's in use. Like this one gives me life gain every time I use the shield charge. Stupid bushes in the way. So every time I hit someone like that, I gain a small bit of life. As usual, you have like scrolls of wisdom, which are your identify scrolls. You've got portal scrolls, which bring you back to the nearest town, which, you know, there's one main town per act, and it brings you to it. You also have waypoints all around the place, and once you complete an act, you get a new map that you get to have new points on, and once you complete one difficulty, you get to move to another difficulty, the next one up or down or whatever. And that's the general progression of it. You've got a bunch of missions in each act, and repeated again for each difficulty, and some of them are pretty good because they give you extra skill points, passive skill points, and others, that's where you will usually get your gems. For a lot of missions, your reward is one of a choice of gems, and of course you can find them just in the wilderness. Anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at each of the guys, because we're going to go to create a character.
Attention, prisoners! For your crimes against Doriath, you have been exiled.
Yeah, there's a nice little bit in the background saying where you are, and that you've just been sent there, and you're gonna rot, because that's what you deserve for whatever shady dealings you've done.
A chance
So
to
you've got
redeem
this
your
guy, the
crimes,
Templar,
a new life.
and he was basically betrayed and sent there. He is strength and intelligence, and he's best with staff, weapons, and with any kind of skill that gives an aura. Simply because of some of the passive abilities he gets along his nearest route along the skill tree. You've got the Shadow. That was the newest character that was added to the game. He's dexterity and intelligence, and any kind of close combat orientated dexterity skill is great for him, with a little bit of magic, just as like crowd control, area of effect spells, just to keep people off you, are pretty handy. Right, here you've got the Marauder. He is the barbarian of the game. He's the powerhouse, the guy you just want to smack things to death with. Personally, I've been messing around with trying to make him more of a magic orientated character, but since the redesign of the passive skill tree, I'm going to have to rethink that just a bit. You've got your Ranger here for all your bow craziness. With, geez, there's a lot of nice little bow skills. Multi-shot, explosive shot, poison shot, burning arrows, lightning arrows. It's all pretty cool. Right here now you've got the Duelist, who is pretty interesting. He can work well with dual wielding, especially when he's dual wielding swords. Like there's one specific gem for dexterity called Dual Hit, where you just hit with both weapons at once. Very handy. And of course, the other of the two characters designed for long range is the Witch. She's obviously designed more for using any kind of spell, and she's fairly weak, but with her skills you can get your energy shield up really, really high. And if you noticed, my character had a little blue thing around the edge of his health orb. That was the energy shield. That's given to you by items, or by auras or effects or whatever you have that grants energy shield, and it's basically like an extra health bar that people have to knock through. It's completely separate to any armor statistic you have. So we're just going to show you how the game starts off here. And like I said, I'm not going to run through the whole thing because, you know, it's still in beta. It's going to change a hell of a lot between now and when it's finally done. The reason I'm doing this now, and I've had it for a bit of a while, before I go talking to him, I'm going to pick up this scepter, because as soon as I talk to him, this corpse is going to come to life. And there we go. Glacial Hammer is our first skill of the game with him. We'll socket that in. So you start off with 2 life flasks and a mana flask, a couple of scrolls of wisdom, and 1 weapon. Also, with the latest patch, you're able to have multiple layouts of weapons there. But yeah, the reason I'm looking at it at the moment is very simple. This weekend, they've opened it up to everybody as a stress test, because at the end of the month they're looking to move into open beta. It might not be the end of the month, it might be something they end up waiting a little longer to do, but you know, that's apparently the plan. So I'm just trying to show it off so that people can get a little interested in it and think, holy shit, I gotta play that game. Because, you know, it's a great little thing. I find it to be quite fun anyway. Although, depending on how you feel about these types of game, well, your mileage may vary. But it's fairly fun. And the interesting thing about these health potions and mana potions, if you notice, I've used that first health potion twice now. and it's refilled. Because if you hover over here, you'll see that it has a certain number of charges. And the way you get extra charges for it is by killing people. Yeah, if you pick up a piece of armor or a ring or an amulet or a belt or whatever that doesn't need to be identified and you have an empty slot available for it, it'll automatically equip it for you. Ooh, there's a small mana flask. I didn't notice that plate vest. At the beginning you're gonna just get, if you're lucky, you're gonna get a full suit of a helmet, a plate vest, some basic greaves, and if you're lucky, some some kind of gauntlets. The biggest variation you're going to get in the beginning is the weaponry. You're not going to get much choice in the armor you get. And of course, the socket layout in every item is completely random. You can get items that re-roll the socket layout, but they're fairly rare, so don't count on seeing too many of them. There we go, there's our first level. Just clear an area here so that we won't be disturbed while I stick in the first point. Die. There we go. So here's where we start. See? That was the Marauder. This is us. Now if we look over here, we've got these very fancy looking nodes. This is interesting. This, not really. What I'm going to be trying for is this little section up here. You've got elemental resistances and increased elemental damage. You've got increased area damage and radius of area effect spells. And over here you've got mana regeneration and casting speed. All sorts of good stuff. Now these are endurance and power charges. I'm not too familiar with them, to be honest. So we're going to go for mana regen first anyway. With those power and endurance charges, there's a frenzy charge as well for dexterity. You can spend them to give bonuses to skills or whatever, depending on the charge and what it's generally used for. As I said, I haven't really dealt with any of those charges or the effects that might be gained from them or anything like that. Another thing, if you've noticed just underneath the mini-map, which, by the way, is not enabled by default, so you kind of have to go into your settings and turn it on. You'll see a little bar next to what looks like a red skill gem. That is a red skill gem. That is the Glacial Hammer skill that I have socketed into an item. You see, the skill gems gain experience as you do, and of course they level up at, you know, different experience barriers than you do. Ooh, here we go. We've got a nice big tower shield that we need to identify. So let's see what we got. 11% increased block and stun recovery. Not bad. We'll stick that on and use it to be awesome. And there we go. Our skill gem has leveled up. So we'll just press this little plus to accept the level. And now our skill is just that little bit stronger. And as you can see, we're now shattering people. Sometimes these little guys can be a little awkward to click on. As always, you can hold down shift and click to attack, which is great if you've got long-range skills. Offhand, there's not really too much else to cover. As well as the auras, you can pick up skills that allow you to summon totems, and you'll also deal with totems out in the world at different points. Totems are basically little living statues that give off an aura. Some regen your health, some make your enemies slower, some do all sorts of crazy shit. One that the enemies get every now and again is an aura that makes it so anyone under the effect of the aura, other than the monster or totem generating the aura, can't die. So you have to go after the thing generating the aura before you can actually kill any of the rest of them. Now this is the first boss. You have to beat him before you can even get into the first town. But the good thing is, he's relatively easy. Just beat on him for a while, and he'll go down fairly easy. And all you see is health just disappearing there we go. Oh, sweet, we got a rare item from him. And in fact, we'll identify those wool shoes. Brilliant, we get a nice energy shield, extra life, extra mana, some lightning resistance, and block and stun recovery. And now you can see this blue line coming up, and you notice that we now have a shield of 9. Go. Open the door, man. There we go. Right into the first town. Now I'll just go to the first few NPCs here, and we'll call it quits after that. First off, you have a stash that's shared between all your characters. Here's a few bits and pieces I've put in here. You've got larger flasks that you can get, medium, large, and greater. And these can be made rare. You can give them effects like increased life or mana recovery, reduced amount but instant recovery. They can cure frozen, that kind of stuff. Amazing stuff. And of course here's a bunch of skill gems that I just happen to have. As well as the identify scrolls and the portal scrolls, you've got these things. Orb of Augmentation. Now let's see. My Splintered Tower Shield only has one line of text for what it can do. So I'll use an Orb of Augmentation, and it adds an extra one, which is 14% armor. But maybe I don't like that. Maybe I want to use an Orb of Alteration, which completely changes its abilities. There we go. Now we've got fire resistance, and we reflect damage. Here we have a Glass Blower's Bauble, which increases the quality of my flasks, usually up to a max of 20%, and because of this 5% increase, it gives me an extra 3 health every time it's used. These transmutation shards and these alteration shards, when you get 20 of them, it'll turn either into an Orb of Transmutation or an Orb of Alteration. You get them by selling items to one of the merchants. One of the merchants here is Nessa, who just gave us a quest to find a medicine chest, but we don't want to do that. We'll sell her this rusted hatchet just to show that that's how you get your shards. He also wanted us to go get that medicine chest, but screw him, we'll do that in a minute. Now, you've got this, Armorer's Scrap, which increases the quality of your armor. Now this is at 10%, it's now up to 12. If it was a normal item it would gain 5, since it's magic it'll gain 2, and if it were rare, like these shoes, it would only gain 1% each time. Now you've also got things like this Orb of Scouring, which if you use it, takes away the magical properties of an item. Like if you had a really crappy kind of magic effect on something and you just wanted to get rid of it and start again and you didn't have any Orbs of Alteration, you'd use that. Or if you had an Orb of Alchemy, which turns a normal item into a rare item, and all you had was magic items, you'd want to scour the magic item to use the Orb of Alchemy. I don't have an Orb of Alchemy, all I have is an Orb of Transmutation, which makes an item magic. So let's use that on the shield again. And there we go, we get increased armor and block and stun recovery. And that's just some of the crazy little items you can get. Now let's properly turn in that Hillock quest. And here's what we can get. Ground Slam, which is an interesting little skill, and if you look at the bottom of the descriptive text there, you can see that it only works with staves or maces. A lot of the different skills only work with certain items, such as all the archery skills only working with bows. We also have Ice Nova, which is an area of effect spell, or Spark. I think Ice Nova is grand to take. But either way, that's how things are. And, you know, check it out. If you manage to get on there before it closes off again, or if you just manage to hold out until it goes into open beta, you know, give it a shot, enjoy it. It's like, the installer for it's only a couple hundred megs, or a few megs, I can't remember, but it'll be about 4 to 5 gigs of a download, so make sure you've got the space available for it. Anyway, thanks for looking at this, guys. Just get out there, have a look at the game when you can, give it a shot. Like I said, it's what I think Diablo 3 should have been. I hope you think something similar. Thanks for watching, guys.